when Jen and I teamed up and we were looking to raise some capital for the company, right? Or we're looking to get a buyer to take us on at grocery chains or liquor chains. Our whole mantra is just get a spoon in their mouth. Like once you taste the product, everything else becomes kind of a lot easier. And so Jen had this original kind of recipe and I tasted it and then I immediately said, all right, I still remember we're sitting there in a restaurant. She's giving me some of the product and I'm like, all right, we're doing something together. I don't know what it is and I don't know how we're doing it, but we are going to do something together. And that seems like a lifetime ago, but that was my, it just triggered my passion for this, sharing this experience with others.
What if I told you there's a product out there that combines two of life's greatest pleasures, alcohol and ice cream, into one ultra creamy, award-winning, grown-up indulgence? Yeah.
Give it to me now.
That exists. And the founders who made it happen are sitting with us right now. Welcome back to Whiskey is for Closers, the podcast by Alteza Solutions, where we sit down with bold founders who've built businesses from scratch and are now figuring out how to scale beyond themselves. My name is Craig Johnson. Today, Drew Epperson and I are flying solo as our company's founder, Steve Caton, and his lovely wife, Tara, are celebrating 30 years of marriage in a place much warmer than this. We are joined today by Dirk Brown and Jenn Randall, the co-founders of Proof Hard Ice Cream. These two didn't just launch a product, they created an entirely new category. But here's the question that stopped me in my tracks when I was prepping for this episode, and probably many others as well. Why hasn't anyone done this before? Because it's awesome and delicious. Turns out the answer involves, I'm sure, years of product research, the tastiest kind, a regulatory maze that would make most founders tap out, and the kind of grit that only comes from believing in something when the market doesn't even know it exists yet. Today, we are diving deep into how they went from, this is kind of a crazy idea, to landing on the shelves of some of the biggest retailers in the country. So, grab a pint or pour yourself something smooth and let's get into it. Dirk, Jenn, welcome to Whiskey is for Closers.
Hey,
so,
thanks.
Absolutely. Here is the first question for everybody. Come on, what are we drinking today? Drew, you want to kick us off?
I will, and I have to acknowledge that Dirk and Jenn, their background.
Yeah, if you're not watching on YouTube, totally.
Bro, my God, you guys, if you are not watching this, there is a background that has an array of options, and I want to jump through the screen, borrow one of their bottles, pour myself a glass. But today, this might be on their shelf, who knows? But what I am having today is monkey shoulder. And I don't know if you guys have ever had monkey shoulder before. See, I knew it. I knew they would have a bottle. This is a blended malt Scotch whiskey. And I have to say, the reason I picked it up is it's got monkeys on the bottle, number one. And number two, it's got the word monkey in the name. So you got to try it. And that is what I am having today. And I'm enjoying.
Love it. Love it. Dirk and Jenn, can we put you on the spot next?
Absolutely. Go ahead, Jenn.
So I'm actually enjoying a wee bit of Henry McKenna 10 year, which cheers.
That's an awesome bottle for sure.
Very nice.
100%.
That is an awesome
Very
bottle
nice.
for sure.
So you're gonna. I'm the boring one in our company. So I'm the guy who does all the spreadsheets. So I've got my Woodford double oak.
Hey, that's a good one too.
Just classic, drinkable, very drinkable. Enjoying it very much.
Hey, Woodford is a good staple. And so, we were kind of talking before. I lived in Louisville for a number of years.
Yeah.
Behind me, you can kind of see it. But every year, Woodford puts out a special bottle for the Kentucky Derby.
That's
and
right.
I have two unopened bottles. One is from the 150th. And the other one is from it's the only year that they didn't run in May, and it was COVID. So they
That's right.
ran in September. So I have both of those bottles unopened behind me over here from
That's
Woodford.
hilarious.
Hang
Yeah.
on to that September bottle because
Oh, yeah, right?
never come around. On the black
No,
market.
you could share it with me.
I'm gonna
If you
sneak into
come
his
and hang out
house.
in Nashville, then we'll maybe crack that one open.
I
That'll be
would come to
good.
Nashville to share that with you.
I love it.
I will
love
tell
it.
you, I will sneak into your house, Craig. And if it's like, what's Drew doing here? He's pouring himself a glass. It's going to be one of those bottles.
Yes.
Well, okay, so I went last on purpose because you guys, I couldn't resist. I'm not drinking anything today. I went and I am partaking in
yes.
proof hard ice cream. And I gotta say, I took I'm gonna just take one taste before we actually jump on today. It was so good, I may have taken more than one bite. And so looking at the package, first of all, the packaging is really, really cool. So it's, single serve. On here, it says 4.5 servings per. I mean, come on, you guys. Like, I'm going to eat this in one sitting, right? Like, this
100%.
Completely.
All 4.5 servings are going bye-bye. But this is such cool packaging. Look at the way that this opens up, and then it's like directly in there. So I got tropical pina colada. I almost, and I'm not like a huge chocolate fan, but I think I may do this next time. I almost got chocolate cherry Manhattan.
Oh, it's
So
good.
my question is, what flavor should I get next? Oh, I saw that one on your site. It wasn't in the store. So I looked up, where do I buy it? And I mean, across the street from my neighborhood is a place that had some, but they only had three options there. But I saw I'm a sucker for caramel and an old fashioned. So
And an old fashioned.
Yeah, it's a
Yes.
game changer. Absolute game
this
changer.
is phenomenal, though.
Fantastic.
And you can't go
really
wrong with
good.
a chocolate espresso martini either, because they've got the chocolate covered coffee beans in there. So that's the
Nice.
espresso beans.
It's really,
yeah,
really
yeah.
good.
Very cool.
So basically, if I want to stay up really late at night, that's the one
That's the
that
one.
I'm.
It's so good.
That's good.
So good.
It's so good. Okay. So diving in, right? Just the question, why, and I know it's a loaded one, why hasn't anyone done this before?
Well, I'll give a little bit of background. Raised in Kentucky, in Eastern Kentucky. And of course, we're known for three things: bourbon, basketball, and horse racing. I love all three. And I'll tie this all together as I go through it. But in Kentucky, we put bourbon in everything: marinades, truffles, other kinds of chocolate. So why not ice cream? And it was not uncommon many, many generations ago when people were making their ice cream at home in the hand cranks. If they got the recipe too hard, they would add a little bit of bourbon, sometimes moonshine, just to soften up the recipe a little bit. So,
Is that why it's so smooth?
oh yeah, it's 100%.
It's so smooth.
It's super smooth, creamy, and dense. So I had this idea, and I'll tie in part of the story. As a former college athlete, I played women's basketball at the University of South Carolina. That's how I met Dirk, who works at the University of South Carolina. And Dirk's background, which is amazing, is in the food science, not just food science, but material sciences. And he's going to get mad at me, but has a PhD from Cornell University, bringing this sharp mind on to help figure out the science behind how we do what we do has been a game changer. And it's enabled us to put in a scalable manufacturing distribution to get us to the next level.
Yeah, because actually,
super cool.
just to go a little, I won't geek out too much on this. Alcohol is a liquid at ice cream temperatures, right? You put your bourbon or your whiskey in the freezer, it's not going to freeze. So when you mix alcohol and ice cream, you're going to get a slushy milkshake. You're not going to get what you're having, Craig. So we actually have developed proprietary binders that bind the alcohol molecules at the molecular level in suspension in the matrix of the ice cream. So what you're tasting actually has liquid alcohol in it. We just keep it from pooling. It's all disseminated through the ice cream. So when you eat it, you get that smooth, creamy mouthfeel, great flavor balance.
Amazing.
But when it hits your tongue, that's when it melts and you're going to get the forward heat or the burn of the cocktail. So it's, I'm hoping that you're enjoying it as much as everyone else does. It's a really magical product. It's it's uncanny how you get that alcohol forward heat or burn of a cocktail experience in an ice cream form factor. That's what I'm just like, the science behind it is fascinating.
That's
Okay,
crazy.
you had me at
well,
Matrix. That's amazing.
well, and we could probably geek out over the manufacturing process as well. That's fascinating stuff.
No, we
but
can't, because we keep that strictly confidential. So if we told you about that, we'd have to kill you.
Totally.
Bingo.
Totally.
But
totally
at
get
least
it.
let me have a pint of your ice cream before you kill me. Then you can take care of me.
Well, let's kind of unpack a little bit more of your story. Drew, why don't you kind of, guide us through a
Yeah.
little bit of this?
100%. So whenever something as unique as what you guys are doing surfaces and you start to hear like, okay, and then you hear kind of the breakdown of how you've done this and you put it all together, walk us back to that aha moment, right? That moment where you guys first had this idea. What was the inspiration? Where were you? Were you drunk in college and you were eating pizza the next day, figuring it out? Like, where did this thing hit? I just got to know how this thing came about.
That's Jen. It's all Jen.
So, yeah, so it's interesting. We had this very, what I would call early recipe, if you will, that was not scalable because the shelf life was pretty short on it. And when I brought Dirk in, it was an opportunity to reformulate in such a way that we could, one, get a 2-year shelf life, really important CPG, right? That you have a longer shelf life. And then the other big thing, and I hope I'm answering this correctly, is once we had the recipe nailed down and the manufacturing process nailed down, really one of the more strategically difficult things was how do we get the permitting at the federal level done, right?
Yeah.
So in the alcohol world, it's a 3-tier system. I don't know how familiar you guys are with that.
No, unpack it for us a little bit.
Yeah, it's very strict. And we were the first company to have regulated levels of alcohol in a food product. So the federal government and the TTB, Tax and Trade Bureau, not have the regulations did not keep up with the pace of our innovation. And I say all this very humbly because it was a really challenging process. So we had to work really closely with the TTB, who oversees tobacco, alcohol, firearms. We had to work very closely with those guys to get regulation on the books that would allow us to go to market across the U.S. So when I first started this, really back in 2015, I was doing little taste demos in restaurants and bars across South Carolina just to get a market response.
Yeah.
Once I went through that, the 2 things that people said were where can I buy this and can I order it? So it was kind of
That's
that
great.
aha moment for me that here is an opportunity not just to do this in South Carolina, but to, one, do it nationally and eventually globally because of that consumer response. So had an opportunity to partner with Dirk. And again, he is really, I can't say, I'll get emotional talking about him because we've been through the wars together, but his mind on the food science side, and then his also intellect and experience on what I would call the CFO chairman side has been absolutely irreplaceable. I would not be sitting here with this opportunity without this man. Just total game changer. So basically, I was just a small town Kentucky girl, had a big dream, and then I met Dirk Brown, and he's helping that dream come true. And I'm sorry, I can't
Yeah.
not gush about
Well, it
you.
goes both ways. I would say it goes both ways. And, my answer to that, because you asked about the epiphany, the short answer is once you get that spoon in your mouth, and Craig, I see your face, like,
Dude,
it's all
so
about,
good.
like when we used to go, when Jen and I teamed up, and we were looking to raise some capital for the company, right? Or we're looking to get a buyer to take us on at grocery chains or liquor chains.
Mm-hmm.
Our whole mantra is just get a spoon in their mouth. Like once you taste the product, everything else becomes kind of a lot easier. And so Jen had this original kind of recipe, and I tasted it, and then I immediately said, all right, I still remember we're sitting there in a restaurant. She's giving me some of the product, and I'm like, all right, we're doing something together. I don't know what it is, and I don't know how we're doing it, but we are going to do something together. And that seems like a lifetime ago, but that was my, it just triggered my passion for sharing this experience with others.
That's so
So
cool.
you guys work with each other. Talk to me about what made this this relationship and partnership right. You can't just pick anybody to do business with, right? We know that. Some of us have experienced like going into partnerships with somebody that had the background, had the understanding, but the relationship just wasn't there. You know, the meshing wasn't there. Talk to me about what makes this right. Talk to me about how all of that works.
You go ahead.
All right. Well, so first of all, by the way, Drew, I have a lot of that experience. I'm a serial entrepreneur, and I know exactly what you're talking about. It's all about the people. I mean, if there's one lesson we all learn in life, there's nothing more important than relationships in life. So I would say one of the things I think. So, and by the way, Jen and I are very, very different people, and different personality types. Lots of different stuff about us.
Very different.
But I'm not as good a basketball player. In fact, Drew, Jen will not let me. We go to business meetings, and Jen won't let me make sports analogies. She's like, please, because I'll mess them up. I'll say, let's just take that slap shot and get those 3 points or whatever. I just so she's like, no, Dirk, you let me do that part. You do your part. I'll do my part. But I would say this. I know unquestionably every day that Jen's got my back and I trust her implicitly. And I think she feels the same about me. And you kind of have to have, I think you have to have a blind faith and trust. Just, it's a little bit like a marriage in some ways, right? Like we always talk about work husband and work wife. It's not a joke. Like you have to have a blind trust and confidence that that person is doing everything they can to make it successful. And you can't ever question that. It just has to be like, you're all in or you don't as well not bother. And that's, I think that's what we feel like. It's like we're all in. There's no tapping out on this one. Yeah.
Right. And I really think our respective strengths and weaknesses balance each other out. Like he's strong where I'm not, and vice versa. So there's a bit of a yin and yang, I guess, that I would say to that.
It's interesting because when I was in my 20s, I was just starting off in business. And a mentor of mine told me this line, and I haven't forgotten it in 25 plus years. He said, relationships are more important than accomplishments.
Yep.
And when he told me that really set the precedence for how I chose to live my life in and out of business.
Nice.
And when you take, like for me, I guess I've taken that philosophy into different business adventures to where I'm going, if this relationship I'm about to go in is more important than what we produce, I think we're on to something. If what I'm producing is more important than the relationship that I'm in, that's not going to end well. And I can even tell just through a video screen that the relationship between you, the mutual respect, the mutual admiration, a lot of times, obviously, you got to have the idea, you got to have the EQ, you got to have the IQ, all of those things. But man, that's the gas on a fire, that relationship piece of just that trust, that implicit trust. I love it. I can sense it. I can feel it. It's just really cool to just sense through a screen.
I agree.
Yeah.
And it's so interesting because as we scale, and maybe I shouldn't even say it, I'm going to say it anyway, as we scale and get introduced to other folks that might be interested, maintaining that relationship during that time, because some folks might try to separate us, even if it's unintentional, but maintaining that bond, not just during good times, but especially during bad or challenging times is, in my mind, the absolute key. And we have that because I've done things in the past. I've had some partners that maybe weren't right.
Yeah.
And when it's right, it feels so good, even when it's bad. Does that make sense? Even when you're going through,
Absolutely.
I think it's Winston Churchill said, when you're going through hell, keep going, right? We get that about each other.
And I think it translates, and to your point, Drew, it also translates, I think. So if the leadership is tight and committed, people sense that, right? And the team, it becomes tight and committed. The investor base becomes tight and committed. Your customers, your partners become tight and committed. It's we all know culture matters, and it's really hard to architect culture, but I think it's just driven by behavior, right? Oh, by the way, our ice machine's going off. If you hear some background noise.
All good. Hey, I'd love to just kind of stay here for a second. Any advice or thoughts for founders who are working with a partner or co-founders who are kind of navigating some of the complexities? What would you say to them as they're going through those rough times or bad times?
For me, I would say that's a really great question. I think patience, right? Patience and understanding is key because we all view challenges through our own lens, right? So I don't always know what's going on in his day-to-day life, right? And vice versa. But I do know that when I go to him with something difficult, that he's always going to show up. He's going to show up on time and he's going to show up the right way. And for me is invaluable because it is hard. I mean, growing a company's hard. We're creating a new market category with intense regulations on both the dairy and the alcohol side. So there are a lot of stressful days. Now, hopefully a lot of that's behind us, right? Because we've got this competitive moat around this product that makes it hard for any other brands to follow us into the market. But the whole idea of showing up at the right time, looking through the right lens is key for me personally.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I'd also tip in on that is you have to, I think it's in stressful times and any new venture that you're building is stressful. We're all, we all get it. It can be extremely stressful, like life-changing stressful. We all know that. I think in those times, it's very easy to avoid conflict, avoid confrontation, avoid unpleasant stuff and sort of try and defer issues. And I think that's very dangerous. I think it's a slippery slope. And so my advice to anybody would be get ahead of that. Like if you have an issue, just get on it and deal with it. It's not going to get better. It doesn't go away by not dealing with stuff. So we really embrace this idea of radical candor, if you're familiar with that term.
Yes.
And so, most people live in ruinous empathy, right? They care about you, so they don't want to hurt your feelings, so they don't tell you. I think Jen and I are pretty good I think if ever we've had issues, it's because we didn't get ahead of something that we should have got ahead of faster. I think that would be my number one thing, my advice, because I've fallen into that trap so many times.
That's really good.
You guys mentioned, Jen, you mentioned the phrase competitive moat that you built around that makes it hard for people to follow behind you. Would you tell me more about what you mean by that?
Absolutely. So it all comes down to permitting at the federal level on the manufacturing facility and then licensing at the state level. So we have built this competitive moat through federal permits, multiple federal permits on our manufacturing facility. And then in some states, we hold our own state level alcohol licenses. And then in other states, we partner with distributors that are third party and hold those licenses as well. But it's a real big, to me, competitive advantage the way we're set up with our manufacturing facility, which in those permits allow us to ship all over the country. And it's really hard to get those permits at the federal level. Like he and I had to go through FBI background checks. Like it's a whole, oh yeah, no, it's really intense. It's very hard to get. Yeah, it's hard to get alcohol permitting in the U.S. Very, very hard.
Go ahead, Dirk.
Great. Well, I don't want to always tip in, but I will say this is, what I love about this. So most of my background is in high tech startups in Silicon Valley. So I'm the engineering guy. What I love about this is this concept that Jen's talking about. So barriers to other people to come in. And if you want to try and get into the ice cream space with regulated levels of alcohol and compete with us, good luck. Come and try. Because number one, it's not easy to make and we know how to make it. By the way, our own employees don't know all the formulas we use and stuff. Number two, you got to distribute it. And it turns out alcohol distributors don't have freezer trucks. Frozen food distributors don't have alcohol licenses. So good luck with that. And then third of all, you got to understand who's eating it, why they're eating, you got the product market fit, the experience that you're having right now, Craig, that cocktail experience and why they're eating it and when you're eating it and how they discover you. Every company is really hard to build and every company has their own unique aspects. But this is the first time in my career where I found something that like legitimately is $1 billion market that we are really in a incredibly strong pole position. And I know I'm coming across as being kind of braggadocious. I don't mean to be a bragger.
It doesn't feel that way at all to me, Dirk, because I was trying to wrap my mind around what it would be like to deal with TTB just alone.
Oh,
But
yeah.
then you layer in states have different regulations, right, on alcohol. But I didn't even think about dairy and the way that that's regulated.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It's
Like,
tough, man. It's tough.
even just attacking one problem, you've now created others. So, I mean, I could stay in this mode for a while because it's super fascinating to me and just nerd out on all of this. But I'd love to kind of pivot a little bit more into sales. And let's kind of sit here for a second. Talk about your first sale. Who was it? How did you land it? Like maybe first sale or first significant sale.
Okay. Okay. No, I've got a great story for you. So it is late 2019, and we have a chain here in the Carolinas called Lowe's Foods.
Okay, yeah.
So there's about 70 to 80 store locations across both Carolinas. Very, very popular with locals. I went into the buyer meeting in late November, pitched the buyer, the alcohol buyer, on Proof Hard Ice Cream, got a spoon in his mouth. He gave the green light. It was the most amazing meeting I've ever had. Gave the green light. We rolled out all those store locations right before COVID shut down the whole country.
My
And
gosh.
I got to tell you, it was an amazing experience, and it really gave us the opening we needed to go into additional retailers. Now that was slowed down a little bit because of COVID, right?
Yeah.
But that was really our shot to go bigger and faster.
Yeah.
And once we got through COVID, that's when we started going into Walmart, Total Wine and more.
Yeah.
And it's just taken
Love
off
Total
from there.
Wine.
Yeah, it is. But it was I just remember walking out of that meeting, calling Dirk, and I said, we're in. I mean, it was a game changer.
It was.
It was a game changer.
It's amazing.
Yeah. And
So, yeah, go ahead.
no, I was just going to say, because buyers can be conservative on innovation. But again, once we got a spoon in his mouth, he saw it. Like he saw the vision, he saw the opportunity, and we've been off and running since then.
Well, Jen's also very charming in her, when she's talking like she's the heart of the company. And when she talks to these buyers, and I've never seen anyone talk to a federal alcohol regulator the way Jenn does. And pretty soon they're helping us figure things out. I'm like, their job is to stop, to stop us from doing bad things, but they're trying to help us figure out ways to get it done. And it's just been a
That's so
great
good.
journey. It's been a great journey there. One thing I will say on that is some of the buyers and some of the regulators and some of the our distribution partners, they've been so good to us. And if you just ask for help and you tell them what you're trying to do, and Jen's got such a genuine personality that when she asks people to help, they help, right? And this is another maybe tip in for anyone who's doing this. I've done this a lot, and I don't do that nearly enough. I'm not real good at that, but Jenn is brilliant at it. And it's been remarkable how helpful people have been as we built this company, because she just is genuine and asks for help.
It's so cool because as I was listening to you talking, you've mentioned it several times, like the way that you pitch something is put a spoon in their mouth. And if I
Yeah.
can just get a spoon in your mouth, you will taste, see, and feel the goodness that is our
Right.
product, right?
Right.
And
That's a
it's-
legit tactic because it's good.
100%. That is such a great sales tactic, especially like I had this picture in my mind as you were talking to the regulator, like them like pushing back and Jenn just taking a scoop and just shoving it in his mouth as they were like talking and telling you all the wrong things you can't do. It's be like, Jenn, here you go.
Totally.
Just take a bite.
America needs this product.
Exactly. So that leads me to, obviously, you didn't just blow through the gates and have zero issues, and people were just like, yeah, come on in, let's go, guys. Talk to us about what did it look like, about the objections you heard the most, and how did you overcome those objections?
That is a great question. Gosh. Well, the objections initially were, one, you can't get this to shelf. No grocery store is going to buy it. You can't get through the regulatory framework. Obviously, we overcame all of that. And I think, a little bit on the regulatory side, once you get in, you're good. right? Like once you overcome those objections, you're good. And I found the same thing on the retailer side. And look, I made a ton of mistakes in the early days, right? You got to remember when we first started, like I was just delivering, out of a car. Like we weren't in grocery.
Wild.
We had all these, little small, what I would call not bodegas, but small storefronts that might carry convenience goods just out testing the market. And I was delivering it one pint at a time. So showing market traction early is helpful. And that led to the bigger opportunities. But just getting to shelf was so important to see consumers adopt the product and that take that at a scalable manner to the larger change.
Yeah, I think another challenge we have is it's not just a new product, it's a new product category, right? And so if you're an entrepreneur and you don't have, we didn't have a lot of money, we didn't have a lot of nobody knew about us. And so you have to not only explain proof hard ice cream, but you have to explain what are you even talking about? What is alcohol in ice cream? So, and then, people are saying, well, ice cream's for kids and kids are going to get this. The RTD market actually helped us a lot because consumers quickly became educated that not all alcohol comes in. We're age gate protected on our product. Like you couldn't buy that, Craig, if you didn't get over 21 to buy it. But that it wasn't so much that, so early on, we worried about that, but it turns out that wasn't something to worry about. But what is something to worry about is people don't get it. And that's why, Drew, we keep saying they got to taste it to get it because they don't get it. Like you say, we have ice cream that has regulated levels of alcohol in it. They're like, what are you talking about? So we have to educate the consumer on the product category and then on our brand. And that's been sort of the biggest challenge, I think,
That's
in
well
terms
said.
of getting the new product to market. But the flip side of that is once they discover it and they love it, then it starts to roll downhill. So I would say that, it's a lot of struggle. And then suddenly overnight, it's going, but only because we managed to break through that consumer confusion about what the heck we really are.
How did you overcome that? How did you overcome the confusion?
It's a good question. Honestly, I wish we had a secret piece of advice on that because it was just a lot of work and time and Jenn hawking the stuff out of the back of her car. I think I will say this back to I would say Lowe's Foods and Total Wine & More and some of the other early chains that took a chance on us. I think it helped them too in some ways because it showed, for their shoppers got to find something, discover a treasure that they wouldn't have found in other grocery stores. And also, we're so different that it increases the basket size at the retail level because it's not like you're going to buy Ben and Jerry's or us, right? You're buying both, right? So that was really good, win-win. But we really needed those chains to take a chance on us and those buyers to have the vision and be willing to help us. And then I think ultimately, here we are many years later, it's helped them too, but they had to believe in us for that to happen.
Good. That's good.
So did you either one of you guys come from a sales background? Did either one of you have background trained formal? I know that you guys, you went and had the science degree, Dirk and Jenn, but did either one of you, or was it kind of like, hey, I'm the owner, founder, I got to figure out how to get this stuff out there. I'm going to figure out how to build the plane as it's going.
So I've done a lot of tech startups. And so most of my companies that I built were business to business, B2B, and it's completely different from consumer space. I would go in and just logically argue why the return on their investment, was going to help them in their business. And that's not the way consumers think, right? Drew's laughing at me. He's like, what are you talking about? So with consumer packaged goods, you talked at the very beginning, you said it's all about relationships. Relationships matter. And this is where Jenn is just naturally, I think a lot of what differentiates our company from other companies I've worked in the past and founded and led actually is just our authenticity. We're a very genuine company and we just come in and we tell you, here's what we're trying to do. Can you help us? Under Jenn's leadership as the CEO, the whole company culture is sort of all of one of we're all going to make this happen together. We're going to help each other. And I think that is an important part of the sales process, especially in this industry. People are not buying this for an economic return on their financial investment. They're buying this because
Sure.
they love the product and they love what the product stands for. And that's partly the magical indulgence that we offer, the kind of the cool, unique adult treat that we offer them, but also the culture behind the brand and what we sort of stand for as a company, I think comes through.
Yeah. Yeah.
We have a heart of gratitude, and we believe in servant leadership. In fact, I don't even call our people employees, they're teammates, and we're here to support one another, execute together, struggle well together when that's necessary, and then celebrate our wins.
Oh, that's good. I think that's super important, right? Because it's so easy to focus on all the things that are going wrong. And that's the unique part of the story. That's what makes the story interesting. But celebrating the wins is so important, especially when it doesn't feel like there's a lot there.
That's right.
Was was there ever a moment, kind of tying this in a little bit, where you thought this might not work? And then what were the wins that you were able to celebrate in those moments when it was difficult?
Well, yeah, for me, going back to the regulatory process at the federal level, because they didn't have
Mm,
any way for us to get to market across the US.
yeah.
So I panicked, right? Because I just, it's the federal government's the federal government, right? Like you have to get along with them in this country. So navigating that over 18 months to get our product
That's a long time.
legally. Yeah. I mean, it's like it is so hard, guys. I can't describe to you what it's like because I wouldn't say they're resistant to innovation. They're just they're slow to move, right? Like it takes a lot of persistence and a lot of patience to really hang in there. So we're about 14 months into that process, 15 months. And I was panicking about Dirk, right? Because Dirk had put obviously cash into the company. We had a small group of investors. And as it continued to drag out, I got really, those were some of the scariest times for me personally.
Yeah, I'd say that the last time I worried about this company was this morning. I worry about I mean, honestly, it's like having a kid. You're always worrying about it, right? And I'm not a huge worrier, but there's always something to focus on. I think it's back to what you were saying earlier. Like I would say there's many, many days when Jen just got me through, she's like, "Hey, just keep going." Tenacity counts for a lot, right? And so just the raw tenacity of this team and the dedication to each other really carries the day. It is like it feels like well, Jen's background, she was a basketball player, right, in college, and just that sort of vibe of a team working together to try and achieve a goal and support each other is really a big part of our culture. And I would say that helps a lot. There's a lot of dark moments when you're trying to build
Yeah.
a company, and it helps if you know that there's other people in there with you.
That's good. How did you talk a little bit more about this? How did you manage the pressure, right? Because you're dealing with R&D, you're dealing with bootstrapping a company, you're dealing with major regulatory hurdles, but you also have a business that you're trying to run, right? So
Right.
how did you manage all of that pressure as you're going to market and as you're trying to make this happen?
Well, for me, it was, and this is why it's so crucial to find the right partner. For me, it was leaning into Dirk during those times and then my kids. So I'm a single mom. I started this company as a single mom. And, if my kids had not bought into this, I never would have done it. So thank God they bought in. They were in middle school when I started it or when we started it. And so really leaning on my partner, spending time with my kids to get some perspective and then working out. I'm not going to lie, like that's kind of like my
Yeah.
mental health. Those three things for me were really the key to getting through that time and just to keep believing, right? Believing in myself, believing in the product, and believing in the process.
All right, so can indulge me for a second. I've got a thought experiment I want to do with you guys. I just drove a DeLorean up to your guys' place. I said, hop in.
Flux
It's a time
capacitor and
machine.
all.
It's fluxing in the back.
Okay.
We are going to take it back in time. Okay. And we're going to take it back to the time where you guys committed to doing this thing at the beginning and you have no idea what's about to take place. And you can say one thing to your past self right as you're getting ready to start this. What are you telling yourself?
You go first. That's a great.
Focus. It's we got distracted. We got distracted by things that slowed us down, and we almost never went wrong when we laser focused on getting 2 or 3 things done and do them well. And it was so easy with this company to get excited. We did a whole cannabis ice cream line. We
Wow.
expanded into states that just because we had an opportunity to go there without a sort of a thoughtful strategy against that. This company only needs 4 or 5 chains to get profitable. Right? So just focus on those customers that are your good partners and making you money, and just put the blinders on and ignore the noise. That's what I would tell myself.
That's good. Jenn, how about you?
I would agree with that. But I go back to grit, grace, and persistence. Those 3 things, particularly, when you're going through tough times, but just being persistent in your mission, values, culture, but making sure you have the right people in the right seats on the bus, and focus. That's the only thing I would add to what Dirk just said. Because with a product like ours that's so new, people come to you with so many ideas, which we're grateful for. Don't get me wrong.
Sure.
But at the same time, going off the chosen path can really lead to delays on launching markets and chains, and just distraction, I think, can kill any company, quite frankly. And I think we lost a little bit of focus because we just had so many people come to us saying, hey, can you put new tropics in? Can you do cannabis, Delta 9, Delta 8? And yes, we can do all those things. But right now we're focused on cocktail culture. We've got the permits in place. And this is what we're doing.
Guys, that is so good, because I talk to owners every single day, all week long. And I would say if there has been one consistent thing that I hear all the time, are owners, when I start to ask them about what verticals are you in and looking at, they tell me about all these different things that they're in. And have you guys heard about this old saying where it's like, chase 2 rabbits, you get none?
Yep.
That's right. Yes.
And it's like, this is what you're talking about. It's that sole focus of going, this is what we're going to do. And Craig, I remember Steve telling us, this is what we're going to do, and we're going to do it really, really well. And it's that just straight on focus. It's so good. That was.
Yep. In sales, we would say riches are in the niches, right?
Yes.
So you gotta hyper focus. Absolutely. So good. So, okay, one more serious question, then we'll kind of lighten things up to wrap. What are you most proud of? Maybe not just as a company, but as founders.
I mean, this isn't going to be sexy, but I'm most proud of our resolve. I'm proud of our resolve, our ability to face down any situation, any challenging situation, and we've had a lot of them, and to still be standing, that means something. That really means something, because the storms are going to come, right? And they're still going to come down the road. I know that. But having a partner that I can trust through the storms, and having a team that I can trust through the storms, it's everything. Because I'm nothing and he's nothing without our team. I'm nothing without him. He and I are nothing together without our amazing board, shareholders, and most importantly, the people that work with us shoulder to shoulder to help us execute on the future. They're helping us chase our dream, and that is so humbling.
Yeah, I agree with that. Actually, it's this theme of relationships. I can't remember if it was you, Craig, or you, Drew, that mentioned it, but I think this idea of relationships are so very important at the end of the day, right? When you look back. And so for me, by the way, so I have a wonderful wife that I love very much, and 3 great kids, and they didn't really sign up for this. And so, and so they put up with me, but they're probably not as enthusiastic about changing the world as I am. And so, if I think about on a personal note, if I think about what I'm most proud of, it's being able to make sure I prioritized and maintained those key relationships in my life, while being under this huge pressure to stay up till 3, 4 in the morning, cranking out spreadsheets for Jenn. And so at the same time, if I think professionally, what I'm most proud of, we have invented and are growing an entirely new industry, an entirely new product category. That's a legacy thing right there. We're going to look back and say, we did that. And it's not like we're another bottled water or granola bar or whatever it is. What we invented a whole product category and brought something to the world that it didn't have before. And so that professionally, that's what I'm the most proud of. But the fact that I managed to do that while keeping what is really important in life in perspective, I'm very proud of that, because for me, that's very hard. It's so easy to go off the rails on that. And so I've been working really, really hard to do that. Yeah. And Jenn's been very patient with me as I try and do that.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Hey, as we were kind of kicking things off and just talking before we started recording, Dirk, you had mentioned that Jenn actually holds an NCAA record. And so I thought it would be good to just kind of talk about this as we're wrapping here.
So she hates it when I tell people this, but it's my favorite thing to tell people. So my business partner does not.
It's an unofficial record, but go
unofficial.
ahead.
It's not unofficial. My
I've got a lot of unofficial records, Jenn.
We need to meet and talk.
My business partner does not lose. It's not that she doesn't like to lose. She does not lose. And so she has the most technical fouls, so that's like an interesting record to hold. But it is so, if you know Jenn, it is so in line with her personality. Like
it's so good.
Do not get in her way, man.
It's so good.
I
love it.
I mean, nobody enjoys losing, right? And they're like, I'll die first before I give up.
Yeah.
Like, no.
So good. I love
it. To that point, if I'm going to lose, I'm going to Bobby Knight a chair. I'm just going to take it. I'm going to chuck it out there, and I'm going to go down swinging.
So, I mean, it's so true, though, right? It's like, if they're going in the paint, you're not going to embarrass me.
Yeah.
You just not.
I love it.
I love it. Sometimes, but
I don't want to see you and Drew in the same room together.
Yeah. I'm backing off at that point.
Yeah, I would bet on Jenn. So with all due respect, I'd bet on Jenn. Yeah.
I'm betting on Jenn against me.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so what's next for Proof? More flavors, world domination via dessert. Any other desserts no one's thought of putting alcohol into?
Well, no, I know that's a really good question, right? That leads in. We have a partnership launching in Q1 next year with Luxardo. Are you familiar with Luxardo cherries? So do you guys drink Manhattans and old fashions? You know the dark cherry? Okay. So they're actually a 200-year-old company out of Italy. They make the cherries. They also have liqueurs and liquors. They were looking to get into the food alcohol space, came across our product through one of our connections on our team. Matteo Luxardo was actually in the U.S. this summer. I had an opportunity to present him with Proof with his products and his cherries. And that has led to this awesome opportunity. So in Q1 2026, we're going to be releasing an Amaretto Old Fashioned.
That's cool.
What is it? Espresso martini, and then what was the third one? A cherry vanilla or a Manhattan. Yeah. So we got those three flavors. Sorry, I wasn't very eloquent there, so you'll have to edit that. But those three, they're amazing, guys. Game changer.
Love it.
Absolute game changers. We're super excited about that.
But it's another example of a relationship of a well-established partner that's willing to work with us and give us a chance, and we're going to do right by them, and we're going to this is a really interesting example of unlocking a lot of revenue from an alcohol branded product, right? So using a whole new way to make money, but from a brand that people love. Luxardo cherries are amazing.
Oh, they're incredible. It's so good in the product.
They are so good, and my wife makes sure that those are the ones that I buy, because when I come home and make the drink, she's like, I will not eat any other kind of cherry. I said, fine, I got you. So that is an amazing partnership. Okay,
that's
so
cool.
Tell us, where can people find Proof, follow you guys, get a print shipped to their front door? Tell us all the things about how that happens.
Well, so if you go to, this is my Silicon Valley tech background. Go to our website at proofhardicecream.com, and we've got a store locator there. So we're in a ton of brick and mortar stores.
Tons.
And you can also order there through e-commerce. So that's the one-stop shop. And you can contact us there. And Jen and I read every email that comes into that website. So we'd love to hear from people. We have a really strong community of people that like our product and like our brand. So we're excited about that community growing.
That's cool. That's cool. Well, we end every episode with a toast. And this week, I'm up. And so I was thinking about this as we were sharing, and I've got my ice cream right here.
Hey.
So here's a toast to the innovators who dare to try new things, whether they work or not. Some great ideas are going to die on the vine, but success takes resolve, grit, determination, and the right relationships, and sometimes some hard ice cream in the back of a car. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers to that.
Love it. Love it.
That's good bourbon. Kentucky bourbon.
Right. Well, Dirk and Jen, thank you so much. We are so honored to have shared some time with you, the microphone with you. They are the founders of Proof, hard ice cream, proving that when you combine relentless determination, resolve, with a product people didn't even know they were missing, you can build something truly category defining. So if you're listening to this and thinking, I need to try this immediately, same, head over to proofhardicecream.com, find them at a retailer near you, get some ice cream shipped straight to your door. Trust us, your Netflix nights are about to get a serious upgrade. And hey, if you are a founder who is still in every pitch and closing every deal and wondering how to scale your sales while or without scaling your stress, that is exactly what we do at Alteza Solutions. We embed proven fractional sales professionals into founder-led businesses so you can grow, hire, or exit on your terms. If that sounds like a conversation you need to have, hit us up. Until next time, subscribe, sip, and unleash your inner closer. Maybe with some boozy ice cream.
Let's go.
Thank you.